And to me, it's nauseating. It's absolutely nauseating because
multiple mental health clinicians said that Derek had limited intellectual ability and was not capable of consenting.
congratulations.
Boom. Right? Change soccer in America forever.
Hella bugs out here. Dude, bro, I keep caressing my leg, boy. Trying to get freaky out here.
Your step siblings and also husband and wife.
I can't do any of that stuff.
That's right. Yeah, in fact, soccer can crawl up my asshole and die for all I care.
And that's what the kids do, but I'm a little older. I like that shirt tucked in.
Who the hell told you that would not be seen on television?
Anal sex is the process of inserting a penis into the anus of another partner.
Oh, right at the beginning, we were stuck at 69 for a really long time. Right at the very beginning of the intro.
I knew.
I know. All right, no, that's okay. We want more than 69 people here, so that's fine. Welcome to the Straight Red Card. I mean, I don't know how we're continuously having this much to cover, but we have a lot to cover, by the way. I want to welcome our new sponsor to the show. That is Brett and Derek's.
An old sponsor, too.
It's an old sponsor. Brett and Derek's Free Kick Spray. Use the spray, make them stay. We really should have got into that market way earlier. You know, we tried early on, and really we just took shaving cream bottles and put our own label on over it.
Yeah.
And
marketing, I get it.
We had a hard time selling them because the refs were like, "What are you talking about, dude? This is just shaving cream. What are you selling us here?" No, it's all about the label, man. This is actual free kick spray. Free kick spray. We gave it a name too.
It's not free.
No, the product wasn't free.
Yeah.
No, it was not free at the time. But anyhow, yeah, I would have liked to have sold more bottles of that. And then, you know, we could have quit our jobs.
Yep.
And if we could have somehow had more of an in at MLS, then, because once, what's his face? Joan Freeman left, right?
Mm-hmm.
We kind of lost our major in there. Like he was our major guy, Jonah Freeman. I hope Jonah Freeman's doing really well, by the way. We really like that guy.
I see him from time to time on the feed. He pops up. Doesn't really talk about soccer as much as I expected, but
yeah, I know. He really doesn't talk about soccer anymore. If you don't remember, if you're not familiar with Jonah Freeman, he used to be the lead editor, the director, editor, or whatever for Major League Soccer back in the day. And we were quite on good terms with Jonah. In fact, we met him in Indianapolis, and we were on his radio thing, his podcast. Is that a podcast? I don't remember.
Yeah, it was more of a podcast than anything else.
Yeah, a lovely human being. By the way, I just made a wonderful ragu last night, like a bolognese, like an original, where you cut up the celery and onions and carrots and garlic really small, and you slowly cook them down. And then you add the wine to deglaze, and then you add the meat, and then you deglaze again, and then with wine, and then you add the crushed whole tomatoes with some tomato paste, some chicken broth, and then you let it reduce for like 3 hours, just slow cooking it. And man, it gets into this thick paste almost, and it's so good. And I'm single, right? So that's going to last me forever. Like I put some of it in the freezer. I put some of it in the fridge. I'm going to be eating ragu bolognese for like a week, right? Straight every night. I don't care. I love it.
Yeah.
What'd you have to eat tonight?
Tonight I had leftover Mexican.
Okay, that's not bad.
I mean, it's the leftover Mexican that my kids didn't finish. Basically, there's a couple soft shell tacos with. I mean, they're in that state where, you know, they like lettuce. They have salads just of lettuce, but they don't like lettuce in their tacos.
Oh, kids.
It's just meat and cheese, and they're freaking out. They're like, "Oh my god, what is this?" And I'm like, "It's an onion. Eat it." You know?
I mean, were we like that as kids too? Did we hate onions?
Onions? I don't think I have a problem with onions. I mean, a lot of vegetables. I think most kids in general, or at least most kids here stateside, let's rephrase this, are probably not the biggest of vegetable eaters.
It's so weird.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Okay. Very weird. All right, for the already this quickly, which is nice, about 160 of you here. Make sure you like, subscribe, share it with grandma, and of course, invite your stepsister over to watch the show if she's got the time and you've got the mind. All right. I also had liver and onions the other day too. By the way, do you like liver? Chicken livers?
I'm sure if cooked, I'll probably be fine with it.
Oh, you've never had them? Okay.
I don't think I've ever had it. No.
It's a very.
I know I never had. Let me rephrase that.
My grandfather introduced me to them in Germany, and he lightly flours the chicken livers, fries them with mushrooms and onions, and in butter, and it's just delicious. I can't do beef liver; that's too strong. All right, we got a lot to get to tonight, so we're just going to go ahead and get into whatever you got.
We pulled this nice, lovely picture of Tact.
Oh, yeah. So Tact wore our shirt again today, which is really cool. So if you didn't and haven't visited the store where we got our shirts, and yeah, I know they're a little pricey. I don't know how to price that down any, but they're great quality. Seriously, I mean, this one has gone through the washer a gazillion times, and it still looks like it's absolutely brand new. So the quality there is there. So thank you, Tact, for repping our shirt. We appreciate that.
We will have more on Tact later.
We will. Also, that's all in the description if you want the link to the shirts. You can get mugs too. We got other things. I think you can get a dildo if you want a dildo. We don't have dildos yet in the shop, do we?
Yeah, I mean, nothing like having my face plastered on a dildo, right?
Just a dildo with our logo on the balls, right? Just on the balls. That would be great. All right. Anyhow.
It's a market. I feel like we can capitalize and corner that entire market. I don't think any of our peers would jump on board with that. So
they probably would not. Yes.
Yeah.
But it would be understandable to them. They'd be like, yeah, that's not surprising they're selling that. Or really not. And the belt that you can put it in so you can get pegged, right? All right. Yeah. All right. So continue on, Brett. What do you got? And we got a lot, folks, tonight. It's more than I thought we were going to have. We've got the search for the coach. We've got Calvin Sullivan and all the jizz being splashed all over the walls, left to right across the North American coasts.
Strange when talking about a 14, 15-year-old kid here. So
it is.
And we will get into that. It's
Yeah.
everywhere.
We've got Enzo Fernandez. Hey, man, you chimed in on it too today, by the way.
On which one? On Cavan?
Cavan.
No, did you not understood what I meant?
Oh, were you joking?
No, I said I had to explain it. Yeah, well, I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up when we get to that topic. But no,
okay, yeah.
There's a very subtle point I was making.
Okay, I almost typed in you too? Question mark. But I didn't. No. I'm like, there must be more to this than I'm probably missing something.
Very, very subtle. So I forgot who initially commented or who actually commented on it. I think only one person commented on it. And I had to explain. I was like, no, there was a subtle point to it. And maybe it was too subtle that it just glossed over. But we'll go over that.
It was like so subtle you couldn't feel it.
You basically, yeah.
Oh yeah, this is so crazy.
Isn't this my way? And
do you think this is real?
No,
or is this staged?
100% staged.
Staged.
100%, yeah.
Okay. Then
otherwise, you'd have the crappiest friend if he's recording this whole thing.
So maybe we shouldn't play it if it's staged.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a talking point. I mean, you wanted to talk about it.
Well, I didn't know if it were staged or not. Now that I know it's staged, it's kind of like, okay. Whatever. They're just trying to get hits, and I don't want to give them more hits.
There you go. Okay. The video had to deal with open relationships and how they just don't work. So.
Yeah, folks, open relation, despite what Destiny says, well, I mean, he's proof right there in the pudding. They don't work.
Yeah.
Essentially, jealousy, conflict, something negative comes out of that. You just can't have your wife go fuck other dudes. And then, then you got trust issues too. Like, is she bringing something home?
Yeah. The wife had a massive zinger against Destiny just recently.
Oh, did she? Man, he's getting hammered all over X. That's all I know. But I mean, he did just say that. Well, anyhow, I'm not going to get into politics. But I've been watching him for a long time. But I watch everybody, right? I mean, left, right, center, north, south, east, west. I'm an all taker of all things that I watch. I think that's important to get the full perspective of what's going on out there, right?
Yeah, Pluto says I have an open relationship with my stepsister. Is that okay?
No, eventually that's not going to work out. It just won't. Somebody's going to get jealous. And let's be frank, it's going to be a lot easier for her to go out and get laid with no problem than it is you. It's going to take you more work. I mean, unless you're doing prostitutes, but then that's not really an open relationship so much. That's more like, yeah, I got a wife, but I like banging prostitutes too. And then, of course, you have the risk of what are you bringing home? The scabies, the little bugs, all kinds of things can happen there. Yeah. So I couldn't think of a venereal disease. All the chlamydia. There you go. You're bringing home chlamydia.
Yeah, the herp.
I mean, the herp, right? You want to risk? You better have a really trusting relationship if you're going to have an open relationship, because you never know what you're going to get from it. And it always ends badly. I'm just telling you that. I know I have had 2 other friends who were not bandmates, but were in other bands that I knew that had open relationships, and that shit did not work. Did not work in either case. In fact, one of their wives hit on me back in like 2003.
Nice.
And I love that guy. So I'm like, nah, I ain't doing that. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to be one of those dudes. So the status Das says, didn't expect this line of conversation. You must be new here. You must be new here. The show always starts out with fluff, my friend. Always starts out with fluff. We like to
sometimes
talk about...
sometimes it's soccer fluff. Sometimes it's whatever fluff we find entertaining.
Right. I mean, we want to ease into the show. We don't just jump into it. I mean, the show is supposed to be fun. So this is like a bunch of guys sitting down at a bar rapping about their lives and soccer, right? That's what we do here.
You failed an opportunity there, Derek, to bring up a previous sponsor by saying we like to lube up before diving right into it.
Former sponsors, 2 of them, Vaseline for a while, and KY Jelly. So that's former sponsors, not sponsoring anymore. So not getting many shout out. Let's see. Mike Pendleton says, grew up. Should I read the bottom one first?
You go this first.
Okay. Grew up in New Hampshire for most of my childhood. Parents still live there. There's lots of cool bits about New Hampshire that you can build a brand around. International is not one of them. What a disappointing brand. Are you kidding? Enter New Hampshire?
Now, as I say down below, I say I actually dig the crest, but Enter, really?
The crest is fine. I
like the crest a lot.
I like the moose. The moose is good.
It's unique and it fits the location.
What are a flock of mooses called? Do we know? Meese?
A margin of moose. I don't know. It's usually the words usually that describes it is usually a starts with the same letter for the most part.
It's not like a herd, is it? Because I think they have a different name for moose. Okay. Well, maybe they should have called themselves like the Herd FC, New Hampshire, the Herd FC, or something like that, or the Thundering Herd. Right? That sounds better than Thundering Herd. Sounds better than trying to pull Meese. It's better than trying to pull off Enter.
Liam said it first. Yeah, it could be Meese. And you know what? Actually, it keeps going. People above, I'll say. I'm pretty sure you said it too, but
it's same as cattle, says Kevin. So it's a herd. It's a herd.
Okay.
A herd of. I don't know. That seems like it shouldn't be right, but I guess it is.
Lou says it's a herd. I looked it up.
Okay. So yeah, you could be the Thundering Herd.
Not the FC. Just go New Hampshire Herd or something like that.
Thundering Herd FC. All right. I went to Carlisle High School in Pennsylvania. Our names were the Thundering Herd, and our picture was a buffalo. And it was a badass logo and a badass name for a high school. So Inter Mies.
There you
No,
go.
guys, I was just kidding.
Daryl chimed in with you.
I was just kidding about the Mies thing and the flock thing. I'm just kidding around. I'm not that dumb. I'm just telling you. All right. Daryl Lee.
He said, no, it's a knuckle.
Okay.
A knuckle of moose.
A knuckle of moose. Marshall is the thundering herd. A group of moose is a herd. Yeah. That's almost like a rap, but with the word rhyming at the end, the same word. The same word.
So, I mean, I dig the effort as far as making the crest. Like I said, I mean, the logo itself and everything works nice. Just why?
Yeah,
Why?
There's nothing that inner about, like, Miami is a completely different thing. It's full of different groups of people. You got the Colombians there, you got the Cubans, you got the Israelis, the Americans. There's just such a diverse population in Miami.
Yeah.
New Hampshire? Really? No, it's not. It's one of the most non-diverse states in the Union. So, yeah. Enter the Moose. Sounds like a bad porn movie. Moose Knuckle FC. All right. Good job, guys. I like those. All right. What else we got? Hopefully more bad new names for teams.
No more bad new names. Derek, what was your biggest gripe last year with all of the Yanks playing in the championship?
What's my biggest complaint? That we don't get to watch them hardly.
There we are. Yep.
Problem solved.
It's being solved.
CBS Sports announces multi-platform rights agreement with English Football League for widest distribution of EFL matches ever in U.S. EFL Championship, League One, League Two, Carabao Cup, Bristol Street Motors Trophy matches. What is that? Will air on Paramount Plus CBS. Bristol Street Motor Trophies? I don't know what that is.
We can watch more Bamford.
Well, I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of Bamford next season, honestly.
What goes down here, though?
And Leeds,
nice little trio here.
Leeds is still actively trying to recruit Josh Sargent.
We'll just copy and paste this set onto Bamford here.
But now we'll be able to, watch all the Josh Sargent games, all the Haji Wright games, and not just like the 6 or 7 or 8 of them available throughout the season. We'll get
if you're lucky.
Get to watch them all. I think
Paramount Plus, man. Mix that with the with Serie A, and you got Champions League. I mean, it's becoming a soccer hub now.
I think ESPN did a pretty good job of knowing what we wanted to watch, because quite often, once Josh came back from injury, Norwich is on there as one of the games you could watch. Haji Wright, same thing for Coventry. A lot of his games were available at the end of the season and sort of mid-season too. Not a lot being in total for the whole season, maybe 12 games for both, but definitely not, the 30-something games.
It wasn't just crazy coincidence that those were the games that Sky Sports selected. Well, maybe Sky Sports knows their market enough in order to pick, majority teams that have Yanks on them.
Yeah, I don't know how that all worked out, and I don't know what the details are, so I can't say anything. All right, for all 300 of you here now, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma, invite the stepsister over to watch the show with you as we get into it. And buy one of these.
Great news, Derek. We got the squad numbers for the Olympics.
Okay. I heard we just tied Spain.
Well, you would never know about it. I mean, hell, the people that cover the youth sector, I guess I just heard that we tied Spain 1-1.
I thought it was behind closed doors, though.
I'm just saying, why wasn't somebody there tweeting about it, play by play?
I only saw. Something? Yeah, you would think they would, but
I mean, I only saw from Brian
McBride.
No, Shredder. When was basically
Shredder. Okay, well that makes sense because Shredder's deep into that stuff. He
but he was the one that was like, he's like, yeah, I guess USA just tied Spain 1-1. I didn't get to see it. He randomly heard about it. So
yeah, I don't know who you heard from it, but he's right. that's what happened. So,
yeah.
Let's see. Tactical manager. Think they will ride with the funeral artwork till the end of the Olympics. This is really, really weird.
This does look like it should be, have like a person with some clouds behind them.
Yeah, this is highly questionable artwork and graphics. And who did they? Is this? Do you think this is the they've gotten to a point where they're back to the janitor doing this from the basement, posting these things up?
I mean, they got everything. Yeah, I don't know. Everything kind of looks relatively official in the sense that maybe this is artwork that Paris 2024 sent out.
You think?
I don't know.
You hope, because this is funeral, stuff here.
Yep. Somebody said they hired somebody from a nursing home. That's what it feels like.
Yeah,
this has more soap opera advertisement written all over it, is what it is.
Yeah, I don't want to offend the janitor that probably had to put this together with no training whatsoever. But, this has got to be better. Jeez, I don't get it. I mean, I could do something. I could poop something out of my ass better than that.
This is, I don't know. It's not good.
Yeah, start the funeral music. Yep.
So,
right.
Interesting to look at this, because I would imagine that if you're going to go ahead and start throwing out numbers, that there's meaning behind this to an extent. For one, I think it's going to be safe to assume that Schulte is going to be our starting goalkeeper.
Sounds like it.
It looks like. I mean, Gaga's labeled all the way down to 18th. I mean, just looking at the starting 11 here. I mean, you got your 4 defenders, which means Miles Robinson is being benched over Max. You got Busio, Paredes, Tessman, Yao, Taylor Booth, and Paxton. I mean, that's...
You think Miles Robinson is being
benched
know. In lieu of Dietz? That would shock me, unless, Mitrovic has a whole different way of looking at the team than we thought. Then that's just a wasted over-age player if he's going to be benched.
I don't know, man.
I mean, it is weird. I agree with you. These things do mean something. So, I don't know. Very weird. Taylor Booth, by the way, was the one who scored versus Spain in that tie. So, good news. It sounds like Taylor Booth's back to being Taylor Booth. And that's what we need.
I wouldn't pay attention to the actual numbers being the positions they play, because I guarantee you Yao and Booth are going to be out wide, and Paxton. If this is the 11, and Paxton's going to play that false 9 again that he played for the U20s. So, but I don't know. To your point, why would you bring an overage player that you're not going to start?
Yeah, so maybe this is meaningless.
Could be.
I don't want to read into it too much, but it is odd. Usually, you give the guys that are going to play more the first option at a number, right?
I mean, what are the odds that Duncan McGuire was like, I'll take 13?
I mean, unless that's his favorite number. My favorite number is 17. So
I would have taken 14, yeah.
So I guess, there's that too. They might have called and said, we got, so-and-so numbers through 1 through 18. Which number you want? And then here's your limited.
I mean, outside of Miles and Duncan, I guess George. Then George would be on the bench too. So 2 of your overage players would be not starting, which seems strange to me.
Yeah. So let's not read into this.
Let's not read into much. Yeah, you're right.
So the only thing I would also say with that slide is that it's almost like you expect the top of it to say the following people were killed on the Titanic. I mean, like that, yeah. It looks like a plaque for some sort of memorial. They gotta get that better. They really do.
Let's see here.
Hey, Gabe, welcome back to the show. Hope you and Connor are doing well there in England. Always was curious what you did there since you lived there. Or do you live there? I think you live in England. But anyhow, you don't have to tell us what you do if you don't want to. But Gabe says for $4.99, good pod as usual. I have a solid source saying the Federation has reps in Europe engaged with 5 candidates. No MLS guys, no names. Assume Vieira is Yeah,
1
of 5. Yeah, and there's no doubt that Vieira, it's been widely reported as one of the 5. I'd really like to know who the other 4 are. I mean, we got rumors of that
Bernard.
too, but nothing confirmed though.
I'm like, saying he's got to be one of the 5, I imagine.
We had all these leakers coming out when Gregg's job was in the air and they were going to decide on it. We got all this inside info, I think, and we ended up being right, which is good, and so was Pete. And then it just, the faucets turned off, so they're just not talking anymore. So maybe they've been cut out of this whole process, or the people that were leaking are been cut out, or they've been threatened. If you leak, we're going to find out who you are, and you'll be out of here. Because I understand they were pretty upset with the leaks that came out. So, but Gabe, thank you for the info. If you have any other names, do let us know. We'd love to report it here. Jose Lopez for $2. Busio slowly coming back. What's up, Derek? What's up, Jose? Hope you're having a good day, my brother.
I think Jose's calling you out for claiming that Busio, because I'm pretty sure Jose's Team Busio.
No. I know. That's fine. Did I say that I didn't think Busio would ever significantly contribute to the big boy men's national team in the future in a major tournament or a major whatever, qualifying or friendly? I still kind of believe that. I think our midfield's loaded. I'm sorry, it is. I mean, it's going to be a battle for Tessman, who had a better season than Busio did in Serie B to make that team going forward. So they're all going to have to hope that whoever the new manager is doesn't value, Luca De La Torre, Johnny, McKenny, Adams, Reyna. I mean, you're going to have to hope, because there's only so many spots available on the team, right? It's not a matter.
Our midfield's absolutely going to get to that point where somebody's going to get left at home.
Somebody's going to have to. And it's not really Busio and Tessman's fault if they have a great season or a good season going forward, that they still might be left off the team, because Maloney was left off the team.
Yep, I was going to say it too.
Yeah,
Maloney was left off the team for a player that they had. They limited his playing time, except for the final match, of course.
Right. So if you're Maloney, just playing for the 7th place Bundesliga team, and you're the leader on that team, one of the leaders on that team, and without that, Heidenheim looked like poo. Yeah, I mean, even Maloney can't make this team. It's crazy talk. It's crazy town. And that's where we're at. So Tessman could be an amazing CB. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing it. Maloney could be a great CB, honestly.
What am I spacing the Houston dude that went to England for a bit? Ended his career there, but he started off as a winger attacker. Then he went to midfield and he played center back. He played with us in 2018 cycle. I can't think of his name.
Oh, you're talking about Jeff Cameron.
Yeah, Cameron. Thank you. Yeah. Oh. That's my. I wanted to draw. I couldn't think of his name for the life of me. I was like, oh my god! I could sit here and describe his entire fucking life.
I was just waiting for you to get
5 letters for his first name. God.
If you would have said Stoke or something like that, I
couldn't think of the team in England. I know he just went from Houston to England, but I mean that would be the same transition type that Cameron endured. Went from basically being an attacker to being a center back / defensive mid. Yeah. I said the same thing about Maloney to that point. I mean,
you've been saying that for some time.
Tessman and Maloney have to look at possibly converting to a center back for our team to even get a sniff. I don't understand.
Yeah, no, Maloney could definitely do it because he's a large mammal. But while you're trying to, explain who you're talking about, I could hear the Jeopardy music in the background. Ding, 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 ding,
this guy went from Houston to England. Who is? I don't have a fucking clue.
I'm like, is he talking about who I think he's talking about?
The last clue I was going to give is a Republican. People harp on him all the time for some of his takes, but
yeah, I mean,
I'm trying to avoid going that route.
I'm not a Republican, but I don't harp on people for being Republicans. I think I don't care.
I don't care what political.
I really don't care. I care about your character. That's all. And anyhow.
I guess while we're talking about Tessman and we're talking about the Olympics and everything like this, let's talk about his future with Venezia.
Transfer news. Who's getting mounted on transfer news? Who's getting over on transfer news? Transfer news. Everyone loves that transfer news, but me. Whatever.
He just canceled his tour. Did we mention that? He canceled the rest of the tour.
I don't know if we talked about that. We didn't talk about.
He was coming to Bloomington. That was like stop 7 or something. But yeah, they totally Tenacious D have canceled their.
Are you upset
their
that
tour.
you didn't get a refund for your tickets?
I wasn't going.
They're no longer in Bloomington anyway, so what does it matter?
It's just that when I was younger, people used to compare me to Jack Black. Like him and Belushi were the two people. They were like, "Oh, you look a lot like Jack Black."
I'll give you Belushi mostly. I think personality wise could be more Jack Black.
I think that's probably true. Yeah, it's probably the personality more. You remind me of Jack Black. People used to say it was after the movie School of Rock.
Yeah,
I started getting that a lot. I'm like, okay,
you play musical instruments. He played musical instruments.
Yeah. There you go. Except my music wasn't meant to be funny. All right, and then somebody says now more like Bill Murray. Yeah. Now that I've lost about 10 pounds in the last month and a half, I probably look a little bit more like.
Or just easier. That's all. I mean, that's all you look like.
If you go back a month and a half, 2 months when I was fatter, I look more like Belushi, or an old Belushi, which we're never going to know what that looks like.
That's what I am now. That's it. Get it?
Yeah. Classic movie.
Good times.
Classic movie. I'll let you read this. I got
Tan Testament to Inter Milan, which almost to be finalized. But instead of going on loan to Serie A, he's going abroad. Everton appear to be the top destination. I want to go. And
Everton?
Like this. 7 million, yeah. So looks like Inter is going to get him for 7 mil.
Huh. Okay, that's pretty good price. But then they're going to loan him out to Everton. That could be an uphill battle for him next season. Not that Everton's a good team, but that's a whole new environment and a whole new challenge, baby, and a whole new speed.
That's what I was going to say. The speed of play must be the big issue here.
I mean,
I would have thought the loan back to Venezia would have been an okay one.
Yeah,
because he would have totally got experience in the league that he's going to be playing in. But you go to England, man, it's going to be much faster. We saw him throw up a so-so game. I know a lot of people have a bad memory of the game where Tessman flubbed that first 15 minutes, and then had an okay-ish second half.
Yeah.
But everybody remembers that first 15 minutes.
Well, people need to clear their fucking brains out because...
Whoa. Minecraft. Call it Minecraft, Derek. Jeez.
Because he's obviously done a lot more than that. And, has he had bad games? Yeah, but so have everybody on that U.S. men's national team has put in a stinker. So if we wanted to just go back and all we want to remember from each player is their stinkers, well, there's plenty of that.
Yeah, do you guys remember when Deadeye came onto our team? He sucked for like the first 5 games or so.
Yes. So
like badly. Like we're like, oh man, who is this guy? Why is he getting playing time? Now look at him. He's one of our more consistent contributors.
Yeah. Tessman was slow for the U.S. men's national team. I can't see him in the EPL. That's what I don't see it either, Fumar. It seems like a really dumb move. I think that, and by the way, that Inter deal is not finalized today. I went on Transfer Market and nothing. There's nothing there with a finalized deal. The rumor,
I think, close to an agreement here.
I think Manuel Veith had it at like 50% the move to Inter, so it's still a coin flip. So I don't know if this is really happening. I know the talk's been going on now for about a month. So will it happen? When's it going to happen? I don't know. But I think a loan back to Venezia and playing a season in Serie A would be much better for him than just throwing him to the wolves at Everton, where they're going to be fighting for their lives all in season, because that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Everton they're going to go down. They are relegation fodder for next season, as they have been for the last 2 seasons. And nobody wants to take a loanee into their team and play him when there are no consequences for him playing bad. You don't want to loan him like that, especially with no option to buy, which is what it's going to be. All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, this is a recycled conversation we all had back in January with Reyna, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like why ship him off to Everton if there's zero chance to purchase? And again, Venezia is going to need him in order to continue to fight for survival. So makes no sense.
It just doesn't make any sense at all.
It's not like Venezia. It's not like Tessman and Venezia are really going to put up any form of a issue against Inter. They're not going to put up a battle.
No,
they're going to be able to win that match. Hopefully,
Venezia's no threat to Inter whatsoever.
Yeah,
not with the signings Inter are making recently. I mean, they're just going to get better. So, yeah, it's ridiculous. Just let them play at Venezia. Don't worry about it. Don't even put in that clause that some teams put in where, you can't play one of our own loan players against us. Don't do that. Just let them play you. Fuck it.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it'd be no different than you playing for the second team in practice against your starters.
Right.
Just let them play. Let them play.
Yep. All right. For almost all 375 of you in here, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma, and share it with your stepsister if she's not over right now snuggling your nutsack. All right, what else we got?
Hey, she can still throw it up on her phone, even if she's doing that.
That's true.
Come on, guys. Oh, well, Derek, I don't know how to really jump into this new video you sent me.
Okay.
So I'm just going to let it do its own.
What is it?
Don't bogart that joint, my friend. Pass it over to me.
Oh, that's when we've got don't bogart that joint, my friend, news. All right. And I know his name is pronounced Bogart, but Bogart, close enough. You know what I mean?
So fun.
So we'll be playing that theme before Tom Selleck Bogart. Tom, don't bogart that joint, my friend.
Yeah. We may only do it this show if whoever owns the rights to that fucking song or whatever ends up capping us. So
it was Capitol Records, I think. So
it was only 9 seconds, so technically we do have fair use here.
We do. I think we'll see. We'll find out, right? If we get nabbed for that. All right. He says, I know it reads confusing. I don't think so.
It doesn't. We talked about this before. Before we really get into this, we talked about this when they rumored, or they talked about this as being a rumor, like at the beginning of the season.
Yes.
But continue.
Okay. But there's a graphic per the league release that makes it simpler. Teams must declare which path they chose before the start of the season. For this year, they have to declare by August 14th, end of the transfer window. Okay. This is not that complex at all. It's just telling you what you can do. And I'm going to imagine the teams going balls out are going to do the top one, which is 3 DPs and 3 initiative players. And then the teams that don't like to spend as much money are going to do the second version, which is 2 designated players and 4 initiative players. So,
but you also get plus 2 million additional GAM. Which means that you could have a U22 player, a young, promising player that would normally qualify for DP money and pay that shit down.
That's true. I guess it'll depend on how the teams are organizing themselves as to how this will work out. But I would imagine the big boy pant teams are going to go for as many DPs as possible. Like if you can get 3 DPs on your team, like they do have at Miami, right? Then you do it.
100% agree that Miami will be in the first tier.
Yeah. And I think teams like the Galaxy and LAFC will probably take the top option. Whereas listen, it's fine having a bunch of U22 initiative players on your team, but they're still under 22, right?
Sure.
I mean, how much are they really going to contribute? Whereas if you got 3 DPs, you can get a center forward, a center mid, and a center back. And you've got the whole spine of your team sorted out right there.
But Diego Luna has like 4 goals and like 12 assists or whatever it is here.
Well, he's an outlier.
There's a U22 for you.
He's an outlier, Brett, and you know it.
Sure.
Absolute. Him and McGlynn, total outliers as far. And then we had Kevin Sullivan's brother score on Wednesday too. That's nice, but it's not like
he's not a U22 though.
That's true, but he's young. I'm just saying, young players right now in this initiative program, the initiative player program, aren't killing it in MLS. So if I'm running a team and I got endless money, I'm going with option 1.
It'd be interesting to see. It'd be interesting to see what U22 initiative players are within MLS and gauge that, because I don't know. I don't know how they're lighting it up.
Well, they're not. Go look at the assists and goals this season. They're not U22 players.
Sure, but you do have 2 designated players in that squad that can do that for you, and then you have a bunch of U22s that are very capable players.
There are not a whole lot of MLS teams running out 3 and 4 U22 players every night. Just not happening.
Sure, the U22 initiative is relatively new, so yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. I like that this is something that they're going to, because this is basically saying, we want you to spend money. We want you to spend money. PT69 says this is too complicated.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
Tom knows his audience.
This is really not that complicated.
Although it's like I know this is complicated. I'm like, are you calling MLS fans dumb?
I don't know.
No, that's not what he's doing. No, of course not. Of course not.
So anyhow, that's that. That's MLS. We had to cover it because it's
we've got so much more MLS to cover. I'm not going to play the song again, though, okay?
Okay. Tom, don't bogart that joint, my friend says, for what it's worth.
Should have fucking played it then, jeez.
Well, I can sing. We don't need to risk it.
You're much faster at singing it, though.
I am. I want to get it over with. Both Philadelphia Union and MLS comms tell me the league ensured that Sullivan's participation compiles with Pennsylvania law. No crap. That's not that hard to do.
Yep.
It's not that hard to
do. There's what's required of 14, 15-year-olds.
Right. You just before 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. when school's in session. Otherwise, minors may work until 9 p.m. More than 3 hours on a school day. When school's in session, otherwise, minors may work for up to 8 hours. More than 18 hours per week. When school's in session, otherwise, minors may work up to 40 hours per week. So, yeah, this was never going to be a real issue, but they did have to make sure they had their lawyers look into it. The last thing they needed is playing Kevin Sullivan and then, having the state come after them for playing a 14-year-old. And I always thought they could, and I think they always knew they could, but they had to make absolutely sure before they did it. And I don't blame them. We live in a litigious world, right?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to get sued or taken to court. And if you're Philadelphia Union, you better cross all the T's and dot all the I's, right? And then you said, congrats to Kevin Sullivan on his record-breaking debut in Philly's destruction of the Revs. Always brings me joy.
That part's true. The always brings me joy is very true.
Hopefully he continues to prove himself with the first team. Okay.
So you're telling me you didn't get the subtle.
I do get it's so subtle, it's just not even grazing my nutsack. That's how it is. If you were trying to kick me in the balls, you've totally missed.
Hopefully he continues to prove himself the first team.
Okay.
My point being, I do break this down, is that I'm hoping that the minutes in the debut was earned not simply to break the record and make headlines. Likely the case of both a little from Poppy and a little Puppy.
Yeah, I think they wanted to get him out there. I don't know necessarily if it was to break the record.
Oh, 100% was. I think this was a marketing ploy. I mean, again, I'm hoping that he is doing well. And Larry jumped in because obviously Larry's like, hey, stop paying attention to the little kids type thing, which is fine. That's what we say too.
Right.
But Larry brought up the great point that Kevin hasn't really even played a 90 full minutes for Philly
the two team.
So I'm just saying. I'm sure Philly looks at him and he's like, well, this is a really talented kid. We'll give him 5 minutes at the end of the game. But why now? Why not 3 games prior to this?
And they've been talking about it on X. The Union page has for it seems like an endless amount of time. So it is partially marketing for sure. He did get his 5 minutes. He looked fine.
Sure.
Is he going to be a starter on this team this year?
I mean, he seriously. He had 100% passing accuracy.
Tax joking.
I know that, Derek.
Okay, he's joking.
I know that, Derek.
So will he start a game this season? I don't know, maybe. But
I don't think so. Barring injuries, I don't think he will.
Yeah, I think
I'm just hoping. Go ahead, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
I was just it'll have to be massive injuries, right?
And I'm just hoping that after this 5-minute spell, which again, I don't want to take anything away from him. Congrats. Good work. I'm just saying that I'm hoping that this Saturday he's on the bench again. And I'm hoping the next Saturday he's on the bench again. Because otherwise, if he's back to the 2 team and the academy team after this, then it's 100%. You know exactly what it was.
Oh, a marketing ploy.
It's a marketing ploy. All of a sudden, you have an academy kid who broke the record for the youngest player to start or to get minutes in an MLS match.
How do you think Freddie Adu feels?
Well, I can tell you exactly how he feels. Well, how he thinks he feels.
I can't read that.
I gotcha. Big congrats to Kevin Sullivan for his record-breaking debut today. That's a hard record to break, and the kid did it. Well done, and good luck, my man.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to put this out there. We wish Kevin Sullivan the best.
100%.
I do think the number of people stroking it out there who are a little overly excited about this need to just calm down a little. We're older, Brett and I are, and we have seen a lot of so-called prodigies over the years fail. Whether you're talking about Gideon Zalalem because of injuries, or more recently, you're talking about Caden Clark. These kids were dubbed as prodigies.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that Kevin is going to eventually go to Man City. That is nice. And probably get loaned out to Strausborg. But I think we just need
coached by Patrick Vieira.
We just need to take it a step at a time and not get overly excited. I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't track him or find out how he's playing, but or congratulate him when he, with his new record. We need to be cautious here and not put too much pressure on him, although he seems like a kid that can handle it. But you never know. At some point, it can get to be too much. He's got years of development to go, and I hope he turns out to be the next Pele, frankly, or whatever. Maradona.
I'm just going to wait till we get to closer to that point, though.
Yeah.
Let's wait until he gets to 16 and he can go to Europe and he can start getting loaned down, start getting minutes at an actual club.
Let's wait.
Union are an actual club. People, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, but
let's wait until he starts kicking ass in MLS. I mean, can we start there first?
Let's start there. I agree.
Yeah, let's start there first, people. I mean, all right.
The good news is for all this media hysteria, we can put one thing to rest here. And that is concerns of...
Do not panic. Do not panic. Cap them now. Cap them now. Yeah, there was never a chance.
Man. So
never.
Sullivan was on Sports Center. They brought him on, talked to him. He's a good public speaker on this. He doesn't say ums and likes or anything like that. It's It's very good. He has very good retorts and speeches towards the questions that are asked, and they do ask him what is his overall goal.
He's a sharp kid. He is.
What are your ultimate soccer dreams?
Look, I mean, winning the World Cup with America, something that's never been done. And I know we get a bad rep, but I can promise you in these upcoming years, we're going to be doing something big.
There you go.
There you go. That's good.
No longer worry. All you guys in the chat, all you guys on Twitter and everything, no longer have to worry about it.
Who were these
people?
To stay.
He's here to stay.
Who were these people worried that he was going to go play for whatever fucking country he could play for? What is it even? I don't even know what country that is, Brett.
1 second.
Ireland, England, Germany. Which one is it? I think it's through his mom's side.
Well, somebody's got to do it. My going back ruined.
And somebody says it's good to dream big. I agree. You know, if they ask you what your dream is, like, this is my dream. This is what
Germany and Bangladesh. Bangladesh was one that threw me for a loop there.
Bangladesh. Yeah, that was never a worry. And Germany, no.
Man City comes a knocking, Derek. You don't know.
Bullshit.
Hey, it's nice to hear from fan standpoint. It's just nice to hear, and there should never have been any concern. Period. But
no, there should have never been any concern whatsoever. So
I don't know. We've had a couple of instances of recent of players who come up through the youth ranks from the U14s and up, all the way through Olympic qualifiers and stuff like that, national caps.
Asmir Baraktarovic is who you're talking about.
Asmir in this situation, not in this situation, but I was talking more like our former Mexican American Patriots. But yes, Asmir is the most recent one. That isn't official. He hasn't said anything, but that's been the rumor. So
yeah, I mean, he's made an official statement saying that he would love to play for the Bosnian national team.
It would be a dream. Yeah.
He
not saying that he wants to play that over US, but
he didn't say it was a dream. I think he just said, I'm proud of my country of origin or something to that regard.
Fair enough.
So, all right, all 400 of you here, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma and your stepsister. Thank you for all being here tonight on this lovely Thursday night. I'm sure some of you have the TV on at the same time. What's on at the same time right now? The RNC.
Asmir did also take the American flag away too. That's what really sparked that.
Yes, of course it did, because that's kind of a weird thing to do.
Randomly, yeah.
I don't know why people do that. Just both flags on there. You can leave them both up there. There's no problem with that.
Exactly. I mean, you could still play for Bosnia if you want to, but you're still Bosnian and American. Who cares? Just keep them all on there. It doesn't really matter. Unless you're wanting to make a statement. That's the only reason.
Did he get crusty because he wasn't picked for the Olympic team?
The pre-Olympic squad, probably. I don't know.
He was on.
Is that time frame?
He was on most of the Olympic qualifier team.
So is Diego, though. Not Diego.
Luna.
So is Luna. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's always possible. Random fluff that I happened to stumble across when I, went back to my homepage and everything like that. Fans are filing a lawsuit over Copa America final chaos.
Well, yeah, if you buy a ticket and you didn't get in the game, yes, you're going to get your ass sued. That's one thing CONMEBOL didn't take into account when they did this whole thing on the cheap side. So, yeah, you get to keep a lot of the money you didn't get to keep last time. But guess what? Now that you're running it 100%, now you're going to get punished too. I don't know how those lawsuits are going to work out, but what happened there was shit. Absolute garbage shit.
Yep.
And yes, people are going to sue you. Absolutely. Especially if they spent, let's say they are a family of 6 and they spent $2,000 for it. And they couldn't even get in to see the game because all the seats were taken. Well, yeah, they're going to be upset.
Sorry, a family of 6, I couldn't fathom spending $2K a pop. But then again, I'm from rural Indiana, so who knows?
That's a lot of money for a soccer game.
A lot of money. Yeah.
For a soccer game? I mean,
a lot.
Maybe World Cup, I'd do that but I don't have a family of 6, so it's just me, you know.
For 2K a ticket, it's just going to be me.
You'll buy your ticket.
Jack. Sorry, Chuck, you're not going.
Yeah, you buy your ticket, I'll buy mine. I'll see you at the stadium.
Yep.
All right. What else we got here?
We got some things that the U.S. head coach has to do, right?
I just like that Justin Moran repointed this out about the U.S. soccer head coach's competencies, bullet points. He says nothing about winning soccer games, nothing about tactics, understanding of the game, player selection. I wish I was making this up, but here are the bullet points for the new coach. Drives a vision-led identity. Okay. So Gregg's vision, as we pointed out here before, was to change the way the world views American soccer. Then his new vision was to change the way Americans view American soccer. Okay. That's just fluff. If you want to talk about fluff, that's the ultimate fluff. It's useless. I'm fine. I don't need my coach to have the vision. U.S. Soccer should have a vision of how they want to run their program, and the coach should fall underneath and into that general vision.
Though can limit who ends up being the coach.
Sure, it can, but a vision is usually a grand statement of where
not a system. You're okay. My
right.
Bad.
It's where you want to go, right? Where you want to go.
Up.
But one of my problems, right, with a lot of vision statements is there's no way to measure it. When I consulted schools, I would go there, they'd have a vision statement. Their vision statement was to develop
tomorrow's leaders,
students who will become great citizens of the United States.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. But are you going to call them when they're 28 to 26, 30 to find out if they become great citizens? Are you going to
do a good job?
Are we going to track all their records to see how many of them get arrested or don't get arrested, or how many of them beat their wives or whatever? No, you're not doing any of that. So that vision is something you will never know if you can achieve.
We're going to do our damnedest to make sure your kids aren't dumb.
Yes, exactly. So a vision should be something generally you can at least have some sense of whether or not you can accomplish it. And then we got build relationships. Man, every coach builds relationships. All right. Every coach does. That's how that works. That's such a generality. I don't build shitty relationships, build good ones, I'm assuming is what they're saying there. But that's just it's blah, 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 blah. That's what that is. You know, effective planner. Okay. Well, yeah, a good coach should be an effective planner. I get that one.
2 p.m., we're going to go out for a late lunch. 3 p.m., we go back to the rooms and vomit. Blah.
Get that scheduled. Yep. In the morning during showers after practice, I pee on your leg. All right. But self-massage. No, self-manages. Self-massages.
Indeed.
The coach is required
it feels good.
The coach is
right there.
required to self-massage himself. All right. I meant self-manages.
That happens at 10 p.m.
Right before bed with a big jar of lube. All right. Self-manages. Well, yeah.
Hold on real quick. Guys, we're going to be covering that topic later on in the show, so no worries about having to repeat stuff on the chat.
Right. We will cover the Enzo thing here shortly. Values communication. Well, who doesn't value even deaf people and blind people value communication? What kind of level of what kind of bar is that? You don't know. I don't listen. We were going to hire you, but you just simply don't value communication. What? I'm sorry, Vieira, but your total lack of value of communication just doesn't pass the bar for us.
This interview was an hour and you only said 3 words.
We kept asking questions and you You kept replying, why?
Okay.
Why? Like we ask you, well, what do you think it takes to be a good coach? Why? That's nobody's going to do that. So some of these are just so stupid because they're just like, of course, the manager needs to value communication. Decisive decision maker. Well, that Gregg certainly wasn't that. Creative innovator. Oh, whatever, dude. I don't need somebody who necessarily is coming up with their own new innovative bullshit. How about just getting the basics right first? And then we'll working on some new shit. But let's get the fucking basics, like hard work, grittiness, sticking your toes, your foot in occasionally, let the other guy know. Fouling occasionally to let the other team know.
Yeah. So let's bite some grit. Come on, guys.
Creative innovator.
Yeah.
Why don't you hire what's his face? Elon Musk, if that's what you want.
Yeah.
That's what you want. Hire Elon Musk.
Practice today, guys. We're just gonna smoke some reefer and think about our place in existence. Right. Why are we who we are? Let's think about that, guys.
Yeah. Passionate developer.
What? What if they're not tech savvy? Already ruling them out?
A passionate developer. What in the fuck is that?
Isn't that those reality TV shows when they're like a Passion Island or whatever, right? Love Island.
I imagine it more like this. The guy is so excited about developing the young players on the team that after practice, he has to sneak off to a room somewhere and let one fly. Just jerk one off into the wall because he's so passionate about it.
Great training session. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. You know, we got a real problem going on here at U.S. Soccer because if this is the gobbledygook that they're doing there, it's, you know. We're all in the wrong spot here. Like none of that is like what a real business person would put out, at least not 10 years ago. And maybe they're doing that now in corporations. They're putting out gobbledygook like this. But in the end, the bottom line still making your goals and achieving your goals.
Yeah.
Every company in the end has to meet the bottom line. And of course, the corporate board, they got to make sure the board and the investors are making money. So yeah, the bottom line's the bottom line. They might have flowery language, but in the end, that's, you know, the brass taxes. So, okay. I think we missed some.
We'll get those super chats because they're going to lead into some of our next topics. So I'm just holding on right now. I don't want to bring them up because then we're going to talk about it.
I think anybody that was surprised as I intro this, that this is something that happened with the Argentinian national team, have just kind of missed out on the history of Argentina in general.
Yeah.
Their population, I think, is like 4 to 5% of another race. I think there's like 4 to 5% of the population has an African heritage. Like, that's not on accident. Really, honestly. There's a whole history of that, and I'm not going to get into it, but it's a long history. And also keep in mind that a massive percentage of the people in Argentina are of Italian descent. And if you've ever been to Italy and gone to, say, a soccer game, what Tim Vickery is about to tell you is something that still goes on to this day in Serie A. And in Spain and other places too, unfortunately. Sorry. I'll let you play.
Every time that a Brazilian side plays an Argentine side in the international cup competitions, there are always Argentine fans doing monkey gestures in the stands. Always. Every game. A mate of mine, correspondent down there, he goes around and interviews these people. And they will vehemently deny that they are racists. For them, this is banter. This is football banter.
Yeah, man, it ain't football banter. I'm sorry, but
Derek, we get called toxic for saying that this player sucks and he probably shouldn't be on the U.S. national team.
I don't know what that has to do with this.
The issue is that they're talking about banter and racism and stuff like that. But we're getting called toxic for doing something so remotely far away from this aspect of culture.
Yeah, I mean, the point is here that, and he points it out later or before, I don't know, because that's enough. That's all we had to play there. But this is a cultural thing that's been going on for a really, really long time in both Italy and Argentina. And the point is that a lot of these Argentine players, and of course, Enzo's going to be the one that gets called out for it because he's the one who filmed himself, right? We can't see all the other players behind him singing along. But this is what happens when they all get in the same room together and feel comfortable, right? Because Enzo ain't singing the song when he goes back to Chelsea. That shit ain't happening, all right? It's just not going to. So he'll know better. But, I mean, he said he got wrapped up in the euphoria of the moment, said Enzo. But the euphoria? So you're going to sing a song? Here are the lyrics to it.
One second. He was just giving an anecdotal evidence as far as when like Brazil plays Argentina, there's always Argentine fans and they're doing monkey gestures and stuff like that.
Yes, he's
not necessarily saying that this is what happened in this instance, but he's saying here's a life story that I understand.
I thought that was very clear in the clip that we just played. Tim Vickery was very clear. He said he has covered the sport for many years, and whenever he's interviewed or gone to the games with the Brazil versus Argentina, there are routinely monkey gestures made. It has nothing to do with these lyrics. But what he's trying to point out is provide context for why these kind of lyrics would be okay with the Argentinian players. Okay? He's providing you context. There is a culture in Argentina. There's actually a culture in Italy. Same thing. Maybe not all of Italy, but certainly chunks of Italy and certain chunks of people. Okay? And the lyrics go as follows. Listen, spread the word. They play in France, but they are all from Angola. They are going to run well. They are like, they like to sleep with trans people. That's in the lyrics. This is the translation I got. Their mom is Nigerian, their dad is Cameroonian, but on the passport, it says French. This is from the Mirror. This is their translation of it. So those are the lyrics. I mean, that's pretty, like, not cool. I don't know why you need to throw in the trans thing. Just seemed to come out of nowhere for me. But every national team now has players who are dual nats. You can't, outside of Argentina, maybe name a whole lot of countries that don't have dual nats. Even Mexico has had dual nats pretty goddamn recently. We have a whole team full of dual nats.
That's why I brought Boomer's point up is not quite exactly like it, but it's like people saying that Bello isn't a real American.
Whatever that fucking means, and whoever gets to decide what a real American is, don't let anybody tell you that they're the purveyor of the rules of who's a real American. You got somebody out there telling you that they know what a real American is? Yeah, well, you probably ought to wonder why their mouth is open, because coming from dual nat background myself, no one will ever listen to me talk and mistake me for being a dual nat, because I don't have an accent anymore. But an accent does not make you not American. If your dad served in the military, for instance, and you were born in Germany to a German mother, you're American. Because you were born on an American army base. That's how that shit works. Mm-hmm. And a lot of our German dual nats, that's the circumstance they're in. Except for some of them, not all of them, their dad left and went back to the United States. And mom stayed in Germany. And they were raised with the German language and the German culture. But they still got that connection to their dad. And that's what matters. And I'm not going to make any judgments about them whatsoever, or making any judgment about Ballo or Eunice. I mean, or Jedi. So what? They have American parents or American lineage. That's all that counts. Yeah. In the end, that's all that counts. Every country's doing it now, not just us. Everyone is. Okay. I don't think them saying Ballo isn't a real American is racism. I don't think it's racism. But I do think it's quite judgmental. And I think it's very narrow-minded. He was an American for 2 weeks. That's why, not because he's black. Come on, Brett.
I said it wasn't the exact situation.
Right.
But it is a similar situation in the sense that you're saying that these players aren't French. They're from insert random countries here, but their passports say they're French.
Insert not random African countries.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that stems from racism by not that, but the Ballo comment stems from racism. But it's the same concept in the sense that you're saying he's not really American because of X, Y, and Z. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I said it wasn't the exact situation. That's all.
No, they're not the same at all. People that are saying Ballo's not a real American, I don't think that's based on racism, because people have said that about Johnny. People have said that about Maloney. People have said that about guys that are not black on our team that have come and played for our team that aren't, in their minds, real Americans. So that's not even a racism thing. That's just a narrow-minded way to look at how international soccer works and how citizenship works. God damn it. Can't talk. On this,
good. Continue.
So Ballo didn't even want to play for us. He held out until the last second. I don't care. A lot of guys have done that. I know.
Well, to that point, yes, he preferred England. Agreed. Understand. Doesn't matter. He's still American. Still into playing for us now.
He's enough American to hold a passport.
Yeah.
So I mean,
but yes, everybody has their favorite that they want to go and play for. I'm sure Jermaine Jones really wanted to play for, continue playing for Germany more so. But you know what? He fucking represents America through and through.
And he did it honorably.
100%.
And he did it like no other motherfucker has. Like, that guy gave you 100% every time he stepped on the pitch, Jermaine Jones. Mm-hmm. So you can either use that as your model and say Jermaine Jones is the pinnacle, and you could go find a player you didn't like who was a dual nat who didn't play well for us and say, that's what we don't want, a guy who's not 100% all in. I'm fine. But don't criticize them that because of they're a dual nat. Just say that because they don't play well. They're not good enough, you know?
Yeah.
Spencer Doherty for 569. Someone should tell them about this thing called mass migration to the U.S. in the late 1800s. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and in the case of France, obviously you have all the former colonies in Africa. And thus there's been immigration going on from Africa to France, and most of it legal for a long, long time now.
Yeah.
So to say the French players, some of them aren't really French, is, again, it's just uncool. Calling them trans fuckers is a little weird, honestly. That's just a little weird. And now, you know, I'm going to be splitting hairs. I mean, if you want to say it's narrow-minded bias, if you don't want to call it racism, but it's pretty bullshit either way. I don't care how you label it. And I'm sorry the Argentinian team thought it was okay to sing about France after they just won Copa America. You didn't even play France. Why are we singing about France? I don't even understand it. I don't get it. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you missed some super chats.
Yeah, Lou, I'm going to get to your super chat in just a second. It's going to lead us into our main topic here, but I'm going to come back to you. Don't worry. Don't worry. I got you lined up.
King Kalo for $1.99. Thanks, brother. Hope you're doing well. U.S. Soccer ever threaten you guys? Plus Tack and Pete? Not physically. Not physically. I know Tact and Pete have had a talking to in Austin. Not going to name the U.S. soccer official about their temperament and what they say. My threats were indirect, usually. Usually it was from the person I interviewed, who said,
press pass, bye-bye.
Right. They would say, you can't put that up. After I did an interview with them, they're like, you can't post that. If you do that, example, my son will never play for U.S. soccer again. So yes, the threats come indirectly. Usually you will occasionally get an actual direct email, but mine go back 15, 20 years. Okay. So not much has changed. And then we have had other people we're close to, journalists that we know who have been blackballed. They've been blackballed.
Yeah.
And they know they've been blackballed too. I mean, it's not even a secret.
Well, the number of them have been public about it. So like Herc brought it up on Tact and Pete's show that, hey, I'm blackballed. ESPN's not necessarily, but I'm blackballed. I can't interview X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Jimmy talked about it on our show.
Yes, he did.
So,
and then most recently, Lawrence Dockery.
Yep.
Was on our show from, oh God, what does he cover again? God damn it. World Soccer. Memphis FC as well. But
okay. Yeah.
World Soccer Talk, I believe. And he knows he hasn't been called on for a long time. Greg didn't want to take that question from him.
That was a really awkward question.
That was
Are we really going to do this?
Are we
going to do this?
It's what Greg said. Are we really going to do this? When Lawrence Dockery was called on because it was CONMEBOL officials running the interview, not Michael Cameraman in U.S. Soccer. And Greg's like, oh shit, you're really going to call this guy? Like he's going to ask something so awful that you can't handle it? What are you, a man or a mouse, Greg? Are you a man or a mouse? A mouse, obviously.
Yeah.
Lou Coutry. Thank you, Lou. We love you. 199. Will USSF do those lame ass tests on the coaches? No, they have actually, it's come out that they will not be doing those tests this time around.
Crocker flat out stated that. He goes, I have a better understanding now, and I think I can expedite this process. You
have to understand that when Crocker was hired, Sportsology had already been hired and already been guaranteed $1 million. That's a round number. And if you can go to U.S. Soccer's reports, and when you go down and you because they're all public, and you scroll down to one of the sections about talent acquisition, I believe was the line, or something close to that. And it's a flat out $1 million. So that was for Sportsology, and Sportsology had a methodology. They wanted a process they wanted to be used that included psychological and philosophical tests, mind tests, basically, that all the candidates would have to go through. And so Matt had to use those the first time around. I'm sure he's never used them before, but that was something they'd already paid for, so they used it. And apparently Jesse went through it, and so did Greg. I'm not sure if Patrick went through all of them. He might have, Patrick Vieira. But I know several candidates apparently said, fuck your stupid tests. I'm not sitting here for 3 hours going through these tests. Not doing it. So I think the tests are gone. Matt Crocker pretty much publicly said so, that he's learned his lesson, and this time we're going to do it kind of more of the old-fashioned way. Just look at my freaking resume, dude.
Yeah.
If you're Jose Mourinho and you're going to come do an interview and you sit down and have a talk, the interview should be fairly short because you already know his resume. You know what he's accomplished. So it should be about just his vision going forward.
There you
That's
go.
it.
This is the thought process, right?
Yeah. The idea that any big-time manager is going to go through one of these Sportsology tests going forward. By the way, Sportsology do not any longer have an office at U.S. Soccer. They're done. They are done. They are over with. So, their influence is over with for now. Thank God. Why you go out and hire this organization that's mostly known for developing NFL, leadership is beyond me. It's just super beyond me.
Mm-hmm.
These guys don't have that big of a record in soccer, so I don't get it. Just because they help some NFL teams doesn't mean they should be hired for U.S. soccer. But that's what happens when you don't have the bold leadership at the top from Cindy Cohn and JT Batson that you need. Because a bold leader doesn't need diapers, Sportsology diapers to help them out. They already have a vision and a plan for how things are supposed to operate and how the processes work. But they needed diapers. So they hired Sportsology.
All right. Well, as of jumping in right into the coaching talk, as of last show, a lot of stuff has happened. I mean, we're talking about a couple days, Derek, and a lot of stuff has happened in the coach search.
Okay.
You look quizzical. I'm talking about the coaching search, and you're like, the fuck is Brett talking about?
No, I think it's something else.
Oh, fair enough.
Like
So-
I admit, like we missed the topic.
Nope. Immediately following that show, it came out that Southgate decided to not continue on as England's coach. And given his connection with Crocker, understanding with Crocker and stuff like that, and the fact that he's been dubbed Berhalter's mentor,
Blah.
it sounded like this. And going off of the super chat from earlier about the 1 out of 5, he might still be one of them. But this is where we started off this week with.
Yeah, I know.
Ooh.
Dude. I mean, it's vomit worthy. Listen, I will give Southgate whatever credit that he whatever he deserves for taking England to 2 finals in the Euros.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. What did those teams look like, though? They look like shit.
They look like Gregg.
They look like Gregg. What do those teams also have a problem doing in the final third in this last tournament?
Scoring goals.
Correct. We don't need another guy whose teams get cramped up,
Creatively bankrupt in the final third.
just totally, absolutely clueless of what to do with the ball in the final third. We don't need it. We don't want it, and we don't need it. And we also don't need a pussy fart. He's a pussy fart. We need somebody who's going to come in and stamp some authority on this team.
Yeah.
And be a real boss, like a boss. I don't need another pussy fart running a team. Some guy who flatulates all these flowery words, talks about fucking zoo animals and shit. I don't need that. I need a guy who's down to business, brass taxes, but get the fucking job done, win games, period.
But Derek, it would sound much more impressive to be called African dogs if you have a British accent.
No, it'll sound worse. It will actually sound worse. I don't think that Gareth Southgate would actually do that, honestly, to give him some credit. To give him some credit, I don't think he would take the team to the zoo and then the next day make some metaphor about African dogs and how we're going to go out and play. I will not even put that on Gareth. That's not fair. Gareth wouldn't even be that fucking
Even
whack.
if he was sitting there after watching that behind the crest going, oh, Gregg, what are you doing, buddy? What was that?
Well, they are good friends, Gregg and Gareth. I mean, that's been said numerous times. They stay in contact. They're kind of the same person, except that Gregg's worse. And would Gareth be an improvement on Gregg? Sure. But who wouldn't be? BJ Callahan would probably be an improvement.
Yeah.
Ray Hudson. Not Ray Hudson. Hudson. Ray Hudson. I don't know. Maybe even Ray Hudson would be an improvement. Honestly.
Well, good news is, one day after posting that about Southgate, the rumor mill still's churning. They're churning out the rumors.
Yeah.
Then we got this one.
I like this one better. Not that it's possible, or I mean, anything's, I guess, still potentially possible here.
Let's assume he's number 3 of 5 right now, because we already have the first 2. Let's assume he's 3 of 5.
Yeah. Dario Ole is reporting that Mauricio Pochettino is a candidate for U.S. men's national team soccer job. The Argentine manager was most recently at Chelsea. Why they got rid of him, I have no clue. I mean, Chelsea are so fucking broken. They are so fucking broken. It's unbelievable. I'm like, this. Does this give me a hard on? No. But does it give me hope? Sure, because this is a bigger name. It's a bigger name. And okay, I'm not just here for the name, though. I've also seen what he did with Tottenham. I saw what he did with a very young, naive Chelsea team at the end of the season. Was he not great at PSG? Did he hate working at PSG? Who doesn't? Name me a manager who has worked at PSG recently who doesn't hate working at PSG, regardless of the talent. But, it's a guy who's been, in the Premier League. He doesn't have any international experience, so that's sort of a knock. Although he played internationally for Argentina as a player. But listen, this is a whole hell of a lot. It's a jump up from Gregg. So if this is what we need to do, or this is all we can get, I'm just not going to complain that much. I'm just not. I'm going to be like, great, this is good. It's not Klopp, but I understand Klopp is like somebody trying to launch a missile into the sun. That's probably not going to hit the target.
So we already guessed 3 out of 5. We talked about Renard last show. Yep. I'm assuming that's 4 out of 5. Who knows who the 5th person is? And assuming that there is, in fact, 5 candidates that are Euro-based, non-MLS based. Again, just going off of that super chat earlier.
And who again was the 5?
We said Patrick. We said Southgate. We said,
No. Who said that?
It was Gabe.
Okay, Gabe. Okay, that's fair. Gabe's right there in here.
1 out of 5.
He's right there in England. I'm sure he's reading a lot of local newspapers or whatever and getting some shit. So I am, by the way, BMR, I am not underrating Pochettino. I'm just saying he's not Klopp. That's all. And that's all. Just to be totally fair. Like, Klopp's, to me, is perfection. I'm not stupid enough to realize we're going to get perfection. That's why I'd be totally happy with Pochettino.
Jack, I'm going to pull this up and I'm going to be right back. All right, man?
All right. Okay, Brett's got to take a poop or something. Something to keep in mind with the U.S. men's national team manager search and all the names that are linked with the job with every passing day, says Stu Holden. Agents and coaches want their name linked with the job for leverage and publicity. 95% of it is garbage. He is right. De La Fuente being a great example. Okay. Does De La Fuente really want to coach for the U.S. soccer? Not really. Probably not. He's using us as leverage to get a bigger payday and a bigger pay offer from Spain to stay on and coach until the World Cup. Okay? So Stu's got that right. I don't know if it's 90%, 95%. Surely a lot of the people that we've talked about on this show and on other shows are probably legit people to talk about because they have been reached out to. Now, the crazy thing is, of course, that Knack's out there saying that Dolo's never, he hasn't even been contacted yet. Which, I mean, listen, I love the brother, but I just find that really hard to believe because TDUN says that's not the opposite. You got Doug McIntyre breaking out the gate before Gregg's even fired, pushing for Cherundolo as the manager, giving us a bullet point breakdown why Dolo would be the perfect manager for the U.S. men's national team. He didn't do that out of thin air. And he never said it was his opinion either. It was like he was reporting something. Like he kind of knew something behind the scenes. And maybe that was just him throwing out a test. Just throwing out a test, right? See how the fans would react. They didn't react very well, did they? All right, we've covered the Stu Holden thing. I'm sure there's a follow-up to this because Stu and Eric Winalda kind of went at it. So, a lot of rubbing, like punching and rubbing going on X.
So this we'll go over this in a sec. But yeah, Stu had brought up a point where he's like, let's talk about Patrick Vieira. And then he goes on to talk about why they shouldn't hire, kind of reasons why you may not necessarily hire him. He wasn't very successful in MLS. Hasn't done anything really in Europe. What's the reason over him over insert rank? You know?
Yeah.
Eric just says, hey, just a couple questions outside of a nanny or a repairman. Have you ever hired anybody ever? Have you ever coached ever?
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm agreeing with Eric on this argument because this is the classical, you've never been a coach, so what do you know? Or you've never hired anybody, so you're not allowed to have an opinion. I guess what he's saying is you don't know dick, so why are you flapping your lips? It's basically what.
Yeah. I mean, the experience matters. Sure, there's levels to that in that sense, but just because Stu hasn't been a coach or hasn't hired a coach or anything like that doesn't mean that his point initially about Patrick was wrong.
No, it doesn't. I think you can form an assessment of all the coaches that have been mentioned on your own. You just go read about their history. You read about the way they like to play. You watch some videos about the way they like to play. As long as you have what I would call a versed background on the coach, you're allowed to have an opinion. If you don't know anything about the coach at all and you just shooting your shit on X, like you just don't like the cut of Vieira's jib or whatever, yeah, okay, fine. Then that's not legitimate. Mm-hmm. That's a very bad way to have an opinion.
This is an argument, as Umar mentions here, this is an argument from authority in that sense.
And listen, we just had Eric on the show a month ago.
Yeah.
We had a great time with him. He's a great guy. We had a great conversation, but Eric's been kind of like zigging and zagging all over X. It's kind of hard to like nail down exactly what he's going to say next, right?
Well, Eric will be the first person to tell you, and same thing with Lawless in this situation, is that you don't have to agree 100% with what everybody says.
Right.
We don't agree with Max all the time, and we call Max out and say, hey, this is why we think you flubbed this one up. We say that about Tech. We say about Pete. You and I call each other out from time to time.
Yep.
It happens. And guess what? We move on with life. We're not hounding on Eric or anything like that by any means. And I'm sure Eric's sitting there going like, yeah, whatever.
There is nobody I have hammered more on this show for the last 2 years than Alexi Lawless.
Yeah.
It's not personal. Now, when I told him he was jizzing all over the wall about, Jesus Ferreira, I probably sounded pretty personal. but it was really about the coverage in general.
Well, and that's the problem with a lot of people who don't know us, don't quite grasp is that, yeah, we're colorful at times. We'll call somebody a moron or an idiot, but we're not meaning that in the sense that like, dude, you're the dumbest motherfucker I ever know.
Yeah,
but it's meant to say like, dude, this is a bad take. That's all we're saying.
Right, it's a bad take.
Don't agree with this. It's all.
But we have really cut down on our idiots and morons lately.
Try to.
I mean, if Lawless has a moronic take on something, I'm still Xing him. I'm still tweeting him and telling him that's a bad call, brother. Mm-hmm. That's bad. I don't know what you're talking about. And I will do it to Eric, and I will do it to anybody that's been on our show that has a bad opinion. But it certainly doesn't mean we hate those guys.
Well, I mean, I've been very vocal about the nickname of Tight Shirt Twelman over the years.
Oh, he likes that,
and it's obviously he's heard it before too. But
he likes it.
You know what? Despite the fact that obviously I coined the term, he'll still go out and like or repost certain things they may post every now and then. Like just recently, he had a have you ever seen Behind the Ferns or Behind Two Between Two Ferns?
Yep.
He did a Between Two Post version of that.
He needs to keep doing them.
That's what I said. I literally said, dude, this segment needs to continue, but tell the editors, allow some of that awkward silence to linger between questions, because that's the charm of Between Two Ferns.
Absolutely.
And he liked it, and then immediately that post got deleted. His post got deleted with the Between Two posts. So I don't know if he got copyright struck on his own
video, on his own show.
I don't know, man. That was so weird. I'm like, it went away, and I'm looking at this going like, oh, it's gone. He deleted the post. I'm like, was it something I said? But no, that's the thing. And that type of I love that content, because you can sit there and say, oh, the jokes are cringe. But I'm like, but that's not the point of it. It is meant to be cringe.
Yes.
So add more
cringe
to it. Like stretch that cringe out.
Right.
So,
all right. For all 475 of you at one point that were here, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma, and text your stepsister and make sure she knows we're on right now. All right. Eric Wallace then says, imagine blowing that hard and the noise comes out like a kazoo.
that's funny though.
Who's he talking to? Stu?
He doesn't like, he goes, I know. Somebody's like, hey, you shouldn't, whatever. Or he's actually responding to Colin in this situation. I don't know what Colin said because he still has me blocked. But Eric says, I know, LOL. I just don't like Stu. He's a blowhard.
You know what's funny? Colin hasn't blocked me. I blocked him on accident, and I meant to just hide his stuff. But I can still view what he says. That's kind of funny.
I think Colin doesn't like my face.
What? You are so way nicer than me. All right.
That's the only reason I can come up with.
I don't get it. He says he just doesn't like Stu, says Eric.
Yeah.
I mean,
imagine blowing that hard and the noise comes out like a kazoo. That's just funny, though.
It is, because remember on my rant that went nuts.
Every time I hear his voice, I want to stab myself in the eye with an ice pick.
Yeah, every time I hear his voice, I want to stab my head with an ice pick. So I know he heard that too. Like, I think Herc let us know that he read that, or he had listened to that or something. Was it Herc or somebody through Herc? I can't remember. Anyhow, so yeah, there's a lot of infighting going on, with former U.S. men's national team players. I think it's fun. I just don't know why he doesn't like Stu.
I guess since we're talking about the brawls that are occurring right now.
Let me finish that comment.
Oh, sorry.
I don't like listening to Stu, but I'm sure he's a wonderful father and a wonderful family man and a wonderful gentleman to have lunch with, and probably gives spectacular reach arounds. I'm sure he's a great human being. I don't know if he should be calling games on Fox. I think his voice is really hard to listen to. He doesn't necessarily ever bring anything that in depth to the analysis of the game. And keep in mind, he's not the color guy. He's the analyst. So Stu, I'm imagining, is an amazing guy, and a spectacular person. I just don't know if the job he's doing is where he should be or what he should be doing. And it's just me. It's my personal opinion. If you love Stu calling games, that's cool. And doing analysis, I'm fine with that. If you like it, if you find it in depth, great. But I don't. My ears bleed when I hear Stu. Yeah, that was kind of one of my major problems. And, he was born with that, and there's probably not much he can do about it. Maybe take some testosterone. I don't know. Get a deeper voice. But, some people find Brett's voice annoying because he sounds like Kermit the Frog. Or they find my voice annoying because it's usually hoarse. And
we'll just meet up the Rainbow Connection.
Rainbow Connection.
Lovers, the dreamers, and me.
All right, what else we got?
In another plot twist Reporters reporting reports. Primarily targeting because he already had fallback guys? Or is it possible that all these reports are accurate? They're just telling one small portion of all the stories.
Yeah, I mean, that's one reason we believe Doug McIntyre's little
Cherundolo?
Let's just call it a shart. He let out a shart about Dolo on that Fox interview to kind of test whether or not the shart would be accepted or rejected. And I don't know if that's true or not at this point, but he should certainly have let us know. Hi, Kevin Banner. That makes you a voice phobic. Yeah, I mean, that's why there are certain, there are certain standards for announcers and their voices, right? There are certain standards for that. But it's not really just his voice, because Landon Donovan has an irritable voice too.
Such a monotone voice when it comes to talking.
But his coverage generally was okay during the Euros. It wasn't bad. Maybe it's because he had Ian Dark alongside him, and that helped him. But it wasn't horrible. At least my mom thinks so. And if my mom can stand it, then I'm kind of like, well, the average fan can stand it. Doug says U.S. Soccer Sporting Director Matt Crocker is primarily targeting high-profile European-based candidates to fill the U.S. men's national team coaching vacancy. Multiple sources tell Fox Soccer, Fox.com stories. All right, so why doesn't he have? I mean, is he the one talking to the multiple sources? Because he says at Fox Soccer, like they're just like blurting this out to Fox Soccer, but more than likely they're telling Doug to say this, and then somebody else replied, and that would be, "Don't bogart that joint." Right?
Yeah, I've got that coming up here in just a second, because Tax says, "Told y'all Cherundolo was never an option for U.S. men's national team."
Yeah, I covered this while you were pooping or whatever you were doing there. That, Tax saying no Dolo. He's not even been contacted. TUDN came out with a report today saying that he was one of top 3 candidates, including
Dolo, Nancy, and Vieira. Yeah.
Yep. So who am I supposed to believe at this point?
That was my point to the stories, and how everybody has a small portion of the overall story. Because I'm sure Crocker is sitting here primarily targeting high-profile European-based candidates, but he's also got these guys off here, this Cherundolo and Nancy, who he can fall back on if these high-end contacts don't work out.
So then, why didn't TUDN, which I'm sure is pronounced a different way in Spanish, why didn't they also tell us who else in Europe they're looking at? Why are we still talking just about Dolo and Nancy as the fallback? Or Vieira, really, in a lot of ways, is just a fallback.
Yeah.
He's a fallback too, which is what makes Bogart's next tweet kind of annoying, honestly. It makes it annoying. And why does Doug McIntyre do what he did on Fox Sports when he's asked by Jimmy Conrad who's the most likely person to be hired? Who's the first person out of his mouth? And no one else came out of his mouth. Just Steve Cherundolo. That's it. That did not come out of thin air. And I said that while we were taking a poop.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Oh, I'm getting a call. Yeah. Filippo's calling me. Tax calling me in the middle of the show.
Nice. I'll go ahead and speech mine, then we'll bring up Bogart's comment here if you want to.
Hold on. Let me.
I'm gonna mute you. Okay.
Hey, Tax, you're live on the show, so just so you know.
I I'm listening. I was listening, then I put the phone because I'm driving.
Okay.
They haven't contacted Cherundolo. I can tell you that through people we know there. I don't know who they contacted, but they're in Europe talking to coaches there. From what I heard, 5 coaches. I don't know their names. I'm assuming Patrick Vieira is one of them. but they haven't contacted Cherundolo. I don't know why Today put that out. That guy is also LA based, so I don't know if it's just a fake rumor from an agent. I don't know, but they're not talking. That's what I heard from sources that I really trust. They never lie to me.
No, dude. Listen, that's why I called out Doug this week and said, why did you foist Dolo on all of us? What's the deal with that?
He's denying it right now. He's saying that it's only aiming for European-based coach. Right? That's what he said.
Yeah, I know.
Primarily,
Yeah. So I was upset with him. So I called him out on X. He didn't reply, of course. He's never going to reply. But, it's good news to hear that now Doug's coming out and he's changed his whole song and dance. So I guess that's good news.
Now, from what you were wondering of the Tudane, I don't know why they're doing that. I really don't know. I don't think they're lying. I just think someone is feeding them fake information. It's probably someone from the Federation. Why? I don't know. But the guys, the higher-ups are in Europe right now talking to candidates. That is factual.
Okay.
Pete heard about that last week. And then today, Doug McIntyre reported the same exact thing. So that is 100% factual. Why is Tudane saying that? I don't know.
Okay. Cool to know, man. Hey, man, thanks for the call in the middle of your drive.
Hopefully I'll be there in the stream on Monday. Enjoy. I'll be listening here. See ya.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. Bye. All right. So that was Tactical Manager calling in to the show just to let us all know that Dolo, despite what TDUN says and despite what Doug broke or supposedly broke or broached, I guess broached would be a good word, made up, pulled out of his asshole with Fox Sports early on. Awful, false. It is weird that Dolo acted so odd about that during his interview, though. Wouldn't he just told the press when they asked him, I have not been approached by U.S. Soccer? Wouldn't that just settled it all at LAFC? And he wouldn't have to deal with bullshit? But he played so coy. So coy. Ugh. Now I definitely don't want him as the manager.
Again, though, it's one of those things where that it could be all the stories are accurate in the sense that somebody could be telling TUDN that, hey, if our search in Europe isn't going off as well, then here's our fallback guys who we're going to approach.
It could be,
but they were saying that these were the candidates. So I mean, this is the problem. We have so many conflicting stories going on here.
But it could be the TDUN, just like a lot of other people are online, they're on X, and they're just following all the rumors just like everybody else is. So to hear from Tact in a way that is absolutely, he can confirm, and I haven't heard from Pete for a while, at least a few days, so I don't know what he's got. But if Tact's coming on and telling us Dolo's not been approached at all, he has not been contacted, I'm going to believe him. Because I don't know who his contacts are, but I know he has some. So it's as simple as that.
Sure.
And then of course with Doug agreeing with Tact today, saying, "Nah, we're out there going for the biggest guy out there we can get." And that's good to hear. It's good news if that's true. And Crocker's got plenty of European contacts, so it should be that way.
So outside of that, I already canceled it, but outside of that Herc post, has anybody stated that Cherundolo has been in contact with U.S. Soccer?
Yes, Edgar Moreno.
Okay. Doesn't say. I know that Doug's post, or not his post, but his interview, it was literally a lob, right?
No, I didn't. It didn't sound like a lob to me.
No. I'm not saying it didn't sound like one, but he didn't flat out say, "Yeah, U.S. Soccer is talking with Cherundolo."
No, he didn't say that.
Yeah,
but when they ask him who's the most likely manager, and you're talking to Doug McIntyre, who has the ears of U.S. Soccer and is really generally up their assholes and knows, and basically they tell him what they've got and he spews it back out for that name at the time to be the first name. So for me, what Doug did there, without saying, well, this is just my opinion, but I think he should have said that. Cherundolo's the best guy for the job, and here's why. He didn't say that. He just flat out came out and said, Jimmy asked him who's the most likely. He said, Steve Cherundolo, and here's why. And it just makes no sense. You can't do that if you're Doug McIntyre. People trust you because you have the ear of U.S. soccer. You have the mouth of U.S. soccer in your ear. You can't just do that, Doug. We expect you and Jeff Carlisle and some of the other dudes, Paul Tenario, who are in constant contact with U.S. soccer. If you're giving us an opinion, you need to tell us it's an opinion. Otherwise, we're going to say, wow, shit, Doug knows something.
I think somebody should make the meme of with Doug McIntyre's face on the voice of Sauron.
Well, yeah. I mean, that'd work. But yeah, that's why I called him out. I called him out twice on X. He's never replied to me. He never will.
He never will.
He never will. Because to him, I'm some old school, over the hill journalist from 20 years ago. He could give about who I am. He doesn't care. And so, to him, I might as well be Bill Archer. Okay? I might as well be Bill Archer. That's how old I am. And so who cares what I ever, whatever coverage I did before in the journalism I did. He does no fucking clue. The people that we've interviewed, the people who've been on our show. I don't know if he'd even come on our show if I asked him to come on the show, and I don't even know how helpful it would be to have him on the show. Honestly. Frank says for $2, Tack was flexing hard. Was he? I hope you guys could hear. I put the phone up to the microphone.
Yeah. The audio had a bit of a reverb or whatever. There's like
had a frizzle, sound. A frizzle fry to it. Yeah.
I think the flexing hard may have been a reference to his tweet where he's just like, yeah, I know. That's exactly what I said a week ago.
It's kind of funny. So, yeah, Tack's coming back from his soccer practice, right? And he's driving home and he's listening to our show on his fucking in his car. That's awesome. And I'm glad he phoned in. Bogart, Hawk, Tao, Ing, Doug. Yeah, dude. I mean, certainly they know each other. That's why Tom's never responded to a single thing I've said to him or texted him or not texted him, DM'd him or nothing. Just nothing.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I don't care. So that's why we're going to continue to do Don't Bogart That Joint.
Don't Bogart that joint, my friend. Pass it over to me.
Yeah. All right. Can you hear me or did I accidentally mute myself?
No, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So great reporting by Doug. Great reporting by Doug. What? It's not that great. It's just like a sentence.
I didn't read the article. Did you read the article?
Yeah, I think I did.
Okay.
There's not much in there. Except for what he says here in summary is what it sums up is what's in the article. So I think that's good. I don't know if it's great reporting. It's exactly what he knows. And he's pooping it back out. I guess that's great reporting. I mean, it's good reporting. Is it? It's not critical reporting, certainly, but he's not really paid to be a critic. So anyhow, he says, who says U.S. Soccer is targeting high-profile European-based coach for U.S. men's national team managerial vacancy? Patrick Vieira would make a lot of sense to be a great hire if that happens. Surprisingly left Strausborg today. Yes, he did. I do not think that Patrick Vieira is a high-profile candidate. He's not a high-profile candidate. He is a settling candidate. Where we're going to settle for Patrick Vieira. The fact that he left Strasbourg doesn't sound coincidental to me because there doesn't seem like he was going to leave by mutual consent prior. So this is quite interesting. Go ahead, Brett.
Well, it's funny that Tack mentioned the number 5 as well, because that's what Gabe said at the very beginning of the show.
Yeah,
5. I'm hearing 5. So there's 2 people right there who probably have different sources saying the same thing,
or the same,
or could be the same source. You never know.
Could be. But you got Patrick Vieira, Hervé Renard. I mean, we're trying to come up with 5 here. Club,
Southgate.
Southgate. Club didn't work, but I think he counts as the 5, maybe.
The fifth one was the question mark. No, what's his name?
Pochettino.
Yeah.
So those are the 5, maybe, unless they're already counting out Club, and so they've added another one to the 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hard to say. Maybe that 5th one is Jurgi Low.
I was going to say, this is at least the 4 that we know that have connections of some form.
Yep.
Whoever the 5th is, that's right.
De La Fuente.
That's right. It could be him.
And then there was Rafa Benitez, who's reached out to U.S. Soccer apparently and said, I'm interested. Listen, I'll settle for, none of these guys have perfect records. Hervé Renard doesn't. Rafa Benitez doesn't. Pochettino doesn't. Not Alexi Lawless. None of the guys we're talking about, Vieira, none of De La Fuente, none of them have perfect records. And in De La Fuente's case, you could say it's close to perfect because he was the youth coach who got raised up to coach the Spanish team, and then they just won. But he's just using us for leverage. So I think De La Fuente's out. I think they've already made a big offer to him, or a bigger offer. So I don't even know if Jason Christ or De Boer are in the mix. Kevin Paulette, don't put that evil on us. Don't put that evil on us.
Put that evil on me.
De Boer. Listen, I remember when I put out, I don't know what I did. It was on Facebook. When Atlanta hired De Boer, I said, this is going to be an unmitigated disaster. He's a horrible coach. And it was. Very quickly was. He's one of the worst coaches. He's one of the worst coaches in the world. He really is. De Boer is one of the most stubborn, arrogant pieces of crap that ever coached. He was a great player, but a horrible coach. Kind of like Brad Friedel. Sorry, Brad. That was kind of a stray. Didn't mean to throw it your way.
It's brutal.
You put out, Derek? I put out what?
I think, I don't know. You said something about putting out.
I mean, if she's the right gal.
Yeah.
She's the right gal. She smells good. And, back in the day, yeah, sure. I put out.
So I pulled up this Cal Bond tweet talking about Patrick leaving Strausborg. An interesting one, because he says, while the official release claims the parting ways was mutual.
You better let me read that.
Go for it.
L'Equipe are reporting that Vieira has been sacked by Strausborg. He wasn't. Finished 13th, 10 points above relegation. Would be a tough sell for U.S. Soccer to hire the recently sacked Strausborg manager. I have got it from 2 sources now. He was not sacked. He left on his own volition. So take that as you will. Not sacked. Incorrect, Kyle.
I mean, no, Kyle's just saying that L'Equipe is reporting that.
L'Equipe, he's right. I'm so sorry, Kyle. My bad.
Yeah.
L'Equipe is full of crap. He was not fired. If they were going to fire him, they would have already fired him after last season. They would have been, enough's enough. You're out.
Yeah.
You're gone. They wouldn't wait till preseason. It's about to start and go, you know what? We had all summer to think about it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Because I mentioned that too. I was like, why would they have waited this long to fire him if they were already thinking about that? I mean, they would have done it immediately after the season ended. You're gone. Peace.
So I really do think, Brett, that Patrick Vieira right now is U.S. Soccer's pick. And it's gotten so serious in the conversations that Vieira felt comfortable enough to relieve himself of duties at Strausborg.
I feel bad for Patrick in this because Marsh felt pretty confident getting that role too, and he turned down 2 gigs in England during that time period. So maybe Berhalter will be our coach for a third.
No, don't say that. It ain't happening. I don't even want to joke about that. That's so
yeah.
So vomit worthy.
So it was interesting because I guess it was only yesterday. Geez. U.S. men's national team only posted a quote from Twellman, basically talking about how Patrick wanted to coach the U.S. men's national team, and he'd be a good blah blah blah. I'm paraphrasing.
I saw the interview actually.
So I think we had that on last show actually. Wasn't it a Twellman interview on whatever? It doesn't really matter.
Might be.
But U.S. men's national team only posts this, and then Tack jumps in. Says, why do we keep throwing names? And then he posts this quote where Patrick Vieira said basically, "Hey, the Dolo response, right? Hey, as of right now, I'm focusing on my club."
Yeah, you can't take. Of course, he's not going to say, "Well, no, if the U.S. came a knocking, Strausborg can go fuck itself in the asshole because I'm leaving." Nobody says that as a coach. You always say, "No, I'm concentrating right here in Alsace, in Strausborg," and that's what he said. It doesn't mean anything. That's a meaningless comment. Every coach says that.
Yeah.
So he's right to say, why do we keep throwing out names? Yeah. Well, in this case, maybe because this one might be true.
Well, hindsight's always 20/20. I mean, this was as of yesterday, and literally as of this morning, Patrick's a free agent.
Out of nowhere.
This is the same thing that happened with Southgate to that point. Like, we're sitting there like, why are you guys mentioning Southgate? And all of a sudden he's a free agent. It's like,
I know.
Yeah. But so all of a sudden there was this back and forth between U.S. men's national team only and Tact. And Tact was like, what the hell happened here? Do we have beef? Was there beef going on here?
I tried to follow that. I couldn't find the beef, though.
Yeah, so he goes, maybe you don't know absolutely everything in the world like you think you do. Maybe next time relax and wait for things to play out.
I hate when people say relax.
But
I am relaxed.
So yeah. I am cool.
Even when I'm upset, I'm relaxed.
So to this point, Tack's argument is, hey, Twellman came out and said, hey, I want to bring up this name again. It's Patrick Vieira. Let's bring him up again. And Tack's and they're like, well, he's already come out and said that he's focusing on his club level. Why are we bringing up names? So, I mean, what's to pan out? But, Twellman did chime in and says his job was never in danger at Strausborg. That's a false report. And he goes, so you knew he was leaving. And then this is where the beef starts. But I think they kind of hashed things out.
Now you want to talk. You blew up the idea yesterday. No, I didn't, quite frankly. They wanted to re-sign him to an extension last week, but years ago, PV, Patrick Vieira, told me on ESPN he loved the national team gig. Just connecting dots, but you think I'm throwing shit against the wall. I mean, I really think the Patrick Vieira shit is real.
Sure.
I do. I do. I think. And listen, if it happens, I can live with it. I will give Patrick Vieira a chance. I'm not going to come out right out of the gates and say this is going to be a disaster or anything like that. I will give Patrick Vieira a shot, a fair shot. If that's where we end up. Because at least it's not Gregg.
So I was going to say, barring Berhalter getting rehired for a third time, I will give any manager a shot, the chance. Even if it's Dolo in the end, I will give him a chance.
I give BJ Callahan a chance.
No, nobody at first gave BJ a chance. They're like, oh my God, he's a PE teacher, and all of a sudden he puts out some good performances. Like, well, we ate crow there. Jeez. Not you and me by any means,
right?
But I mean, we as the collective we on Twitter and whatnot. But I guess my question here is, if you didn't know that Patrick was going to leave his position, what dots was he connecting? Just the fact that a couple years back, Patrick told him, "Hey, I'd really like this U.S. men's national team gig."
I mean,
there's no dots.
Him leaving Strausborg out of nowhere is weird. It's just weird. They wanted him. They were going to re-sign him, and then for a longer contract, and then poof, out of nowhere during this whole hiring process that we're going through right now, all of a sudden, Vieira's name's coming out left, right. Everybody's mom's talking about it.
Yeah.
Everyone's stepsister is, masturbating to pictures of Vieira. I mean, I don't know.
After done with her, yeah. No, I think the Doug McIntyre article talking about they're looking at high Euro, options, some top candidates, and then all of a sudden Patrick's leaving his gig.
But he's not a high profile. That's my point, though, Brett.
But my point is that maybe they've reached out to X, Y, and Z people that we brought up in the show already, and maybe Crocker's looking at going, that's not what we want, or that's too spicy for me, And then Patrick, maybe their fall guy that checks off the boxes that some people want,
and he's already been interviewed in the last round.
Yeah.
By Matt Crocker. So it's some guy you've already interviewed before. So maybe there's some level of comfort there, but he's not a high profile signing. I'm sorry, Tom. Don't bogart that joint, my friend. That is not a high profile signing. I'm sorry, Tom Bogart. It is not a high profile signing. It's a decent fallback signing. Let me put it that way. And for the 500 of you in here, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma. And, of course, send a link to your stepsister if she's not over right now. And by this time, your stepsister should already be over. You guys should be cuddling on the couch. All right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. What else we got here?
This is just to finish off the Tax versus U.S. men's national team only. Tax says he's not beefing with him. He's waiting for a response. And then he might start beefing with him. U.S. men's national team only says no beef, but personally just don't think you should be so quick to shoot down credible and well-informed folks like Twellman who have legit sources unless you hear something on the contrary.
You want to know the truth? Taylor Twellman has about as legit sources as Tack does and Pete. Really. They do. They do. I would like to boast the same here, but it's not the case. We got 2-3 leakers. Pete had 8. 8. Now, the problem is vetting them, right? You got to vet them because you can't believe everything every anonymous joker sends you in a DM.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. And in fact, Pete said it on his show. Said it in private to me too as well. Some of these guys I don't trust at all, or I don't know if I can trust them. So he never used the info, just like I never used the info I talked about 3 shows ago because I just couldn't verify it and I thought it was ridiculous. It probably turns out it was true. It was actually legit info. I probably should have believed, but it's not like I didn't believe it or want to believe it.
Yeah.
Or it's just that I couldn't confirm it, and so I couldn't use it. And that's just how it works. And if you're even remotely care about your own reputation, you don't put out crap that's going to make you look like a turkey a week later. You just don't do it. Because in this day and age with social media, people got something. It's called receipts. And they're right there. And the internet's forever. So if you continually put out horse poo, people can start receipting your horse poo. They can nail you. They will make you look like a clown. That's why we rarely, ever have had to eat crow on this show. And the crow we have eaten on the show has been pretty randomly small and for not really big issues. Not big issues at all. It's been like, okay, if we beat England, I'll have sex with a sex doll live on air. That's, that's not really a big thing to eat crow about. After being asked about U.S. men's national team gig, Patrick stated his focus with Strausborg gets released on mutual consent. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. No, seriously, Hollywood isn't that creative. Rumor mill, keep on turning, rolling on a river. Little Tina Turner there, right?
Going for more of the Creedence Clearwater.
Oh, you were doing okay. CCR.
Yep.
Okay. What else we got here?
We got some videos we're going to cover here in just a second.
Rolling on a river. Good song by Tina Turner. She's still alive, right? I think she's still alive. No, she may have passed. But I'm glad that I grew up in an era with so much Tina Turner. If she's still alive, great. If she isn't, sorry. Videos of Derek and the doll. No,
it's out there.
We never got, but I legit did research on trying to buy a cheap doll. I really did. I was going to try to do some sort of.
You got the one with the arms and the crappy. I mean, it's literally just like a flotation device at that point.
I just, I was going to do something jokey. I was going to actually have sex live on TV with it, but on
so,
YouTube.
I mean, it would have been recorded, would have been pixelated. All 3 inches of it, right?
LB, shut up. LB says she has passed, dude. I think, yeah, that's too bad. I'm sorry she has. She was one of the greats. All right.
Fun fact: Tina Turner was his stepsister.
Was my stepsister?
It could be her stepsister with the name like Pink Taco.
Pink Taco. I've seen that.
That could be our 0.001% female listener.
Who knows? All right.
We got an ESPN FC video here that you sent my way.
Yeah, this is. We don't usually clip a lot from ESPN, but I think this remark is telling about, hey, this job that you're talking about, this U.S. soccer men's national team job, it's really not that attractive. It's not that attractive. It just isn't. It's not as attractive as you think it is. And that's what he says here. And why? He'll tell you.
I also think that U.S. soccer has its quirks. That, many managers coming in might not want to be. You're a Jurgen Klopp. You're used to being in hotbed of the game, where the clock pretty much revolves around football. Not so much here. And if you're a big name manager with that big time European experience,
I mean, I've got to pause it somewhere.
Yeah, no, he's right. U.S. soccer does have quirks. There is no doubt about that. And it's not just that. He's also talking about, where he's at now at Liverpool. That shit's life and death, or was at Liverpool. It was life and death every day. Soccer was the be all end all. And now he's going to come here, and it's going to be kind of like a flaccid cock. He's going to have to work in an environment. But I do have to say this, if Klopp came here, I think that flaccid cock would explode into a gigantic boner for a lot of people. I really do. I don't think Klopp, I don't know if that's why Klopp wouldn't come here, but there are probably other coaches that aren't Klopp who have been considered who are like, do I really want to do that? Like nobody, I mean, compared to Germany, Jurgen Love, compared to Germany, nobody really cares about soccer in the United States. It's kind of a niche thing.
It could be a nice thing, though.
But they're exactly. They're
less pressure as a whole. You just come out here, you put forth a good performance or two, fans will be like, thank you.
The other angle, if you're Jurgen Love, would be like, listen, I can go over there and be practically anonymous. Nobody knows I'm a booger eater, an ass scratcher. They don't know that I like to sniff my armpits. Like I could be completely anonymous in America. So maybe that's a bonus. He doesn't talk about that, but there are some problems. You want to finish this off, as they say?
Do you want to come to the US and just be an afterthought? I think it's a really difficult sell, and I sympathize.
There should be only one
There we go.
media
That's
outlet.
it. Yep. No, it is. I don't think it's as easy of a sell as a lot of us want to believe. I really don't. I don't think it's as easy of a sell as we want to hope it is. I think it's still a hard sell. I think it's difficult. I don't think you don't know what you're getting into. But if unless your name's Jurgen Klopp or Jose Mourinho or one of the big names where when you're going to get hired, you're going to be the boss. You're the boss, not US Soccer. Fuck whatever they say. They're going to have to listen to what you say, right? Matt Crocker, you're basically my bitch. You're not my boss, okay? And, I think if US Soccer are willing to endure that, bending over, grabbing the ankles and all that, which I think it sounds like they're willing to do, I still don't know if you're going to be able to get anybody that kind of high caliber. I think that's kind of unrealistic, although even Jose Mourinho talked about, yes, someday I'd like to do some stuff in America. But I have not heard a word about Jose Mourinho. Not a word. And plus, he just got a new job. So, it's in Turkey. You'd think he'd just be like, fuck that job. I'm leaving. But usually you don't do that. And I don't know if we want him to be coach anyhow. I don't know if that's the kind of playing style we want to play or whatever. I don't know all the details of why you would want.
You'd be confused with our squad being such a young squad.
Well, he'd have to deal with it, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
But he did express some mild interest not long ago. But his name has not been one of many of the names that have been mentioned. So, are we about out of show?
I accidentally deleted the last video that was up. That was the Jimmy Conrad one.
Did you get all twitchy and shit? I don't know.
I clicked the X too quickly, double tapped it, and all of a sudden I clicked double tap that.
You had like a minor seizure.
And this was the Doug McIntyre thing. We don't need to do that.
We don't know. We talked about we would only play that
if we knew exactly where it was anyways.
To give you the example of what Doug McIntyre said, to leave us all off the scent, essentially. And as tactical manager said tonight on the show, by the way, he will be on our show Monday for the whole show, which he mentioned in the phone call.
That's news to me.
I know I didn't tell you today, but I've been rapping with Tac, so I was like, it's time for you to come back on. He's like, all right, let's do it Monday. So he'll be tactical manager. We'll be back on the show Monday, unless something weird happens. And want to make sure all of you have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Take your stepsister out for dinner. Take her to a movie. Cuddle up and snuggle up on the couch together. Watch another movie. Do the nasty or whatever. You don't have to do the nasty. Maybe you're just friends, and that's okay too. We support that. All right. We want to thank all of 500 at one point, 530 of you. Yeah, that were here tonight. We do appreciate it. We will be back on Monday with Tactical Manager, where we're going to talk about probably a whole lot of stuff. We'll see what happens over the weekend. Until then, make sure you share it with your grandma. And make sure you hit like and subscribe. And, of course, send it to your stepsister and uncles and all related family and anybody you know that loves soccer. We'll be back next time. Thanks to our sponsor, Free Kick, Derek and Brett and Derek's Free Kick Spray.
You put the right emphasis that time. It's not Free Kick Spray. It's Free Kick Spray.
Dick's Mayo will be back as a sponsor next week. So for the entire week, which we appreciate. Thank you, Dick's. Until then, we love you and good night.
That hurt.
And to me, it's nauseating. It's absolutely not.
Hang on, Derek. I can't let this pass.
What?
It pass.
What happened?
I would have felt awful.
Oh, wow. We want to diss Frank. All right. I think Patrick Vieira got a raw deal at Palace. His last 12 games were Spurs, Chelsea, Man United, Newcastle, Man United, Brighton, Brentford, Liverpool, Villa, City, Brighton, Arsenal.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's harsh, man. That's a real reaming. Yeah, I'm not saying that I wouldn't accept Patrick Vieira and support him and support the team and give him a shot, because I will. I will if he's hired.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think he's a big name that I was hoping we would get? But that's me hoping. That's you guys hoping. I don't know. In the end, it's going to be about what's realistic, right? And who actually says yes. Would I like a list from U.S. Soccer telling us all the people they gave a phone call to? Sure, I would. And one day I hope, there's a book written that tells us who got called and who didn't. Because right now I don't trust U.S. Soccer and I don't trust Betty Crocker. The only way they're going to build that trust with me is by hiring somebody that is the perfect person for this job, or at least a really promising person for this job. So if Vieira gets hired, I'll support him. Brett,
well, they're definitely not going to be coming out saying like, well, we tried to get a big name, but we landed on Patrick. So is it going to come out saying like, hey, we think he's the right man for the job and move on from there?
That's what they're going to say. Yeah, absolutely.
So.
All right. Sorry, Frank. We almost fucked you in the asshole, which is not something we like to do here live on the show, just in private in public bathrooms. All right. We'll be back on Monday with Tactical Manager. And until then, we will see you soon.
That hurt.
And to me, it's nauseating. It's absolutely nauseating because
multiple mental health clinicians said that Derek had limited intellectual ability and was not capable of consenting.
Congratulations. Boom. Right? Change soccer in America forever.
Hella bugs out here. Bro, I keep caressing my leg, boy. Trying to get freaky out.